Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to take a very quick look at the game Gold Mine. Gold Mine is for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and the average play time is between 30 and 60 minutes. In this game, players are going to be taking on the role of miners who are going to be trying to collect a certain number of gold nuggets and escape from the mine before the other players do. Let's just take a quick moment to look at the components and see how the game is played. Gold Mine at its heart is a tile laying game, and because of that you've got a bag full of tiles back here. But just to sum that up, tiles are simply two-sided. One is a blank side which has the game's logo on it, and the other side has some sort of cavern or path that players will be allowed to traverse as the game progresses. Players will also receive one of these miner figurines that'll help them keep track of their progress through the mine as it develops. You've got some challenge tokens here. Each player will receive 3 of these at the beginning of the game. This allows them to perform actions against other people. You've got dice, which assists in movement, and finally you've got these gold nuggets. These are the things that players will be trying to collect and escape with in order to win the game. As far as setting up the game, players will need to find the mining entrance tile. It is unique and looks different than the other ones. But you'd simply just put this in the middle of the table in between all of the players, and the rest are put into stacks, shuffled face down. Each player will also receive a miner and 3 challenge tokens of each type. There should be 3 red and 3 blue. And finally, each player will roll a die, and whoever has the highest value will get to go first. Now the game is broken up into 2 different phases. You've got development mining and production mining. And basically the development mining phase only occurs once, and it's just basically there to help players set up the game so that they can move their miners around. Basically that just entails players taking turns, starting with the starting player, placing these tiles on the board until 20 have been placed. So one player would take a turn, flip one over, and they'll have to follow the rules, the placement rules. I won't go into all of the placement rules, but for the most part they must make sense. For example, here's the starting tile, and here's the tile that I just placed. In this case, this route is blocked, but this one can continue. And it's important that tiles cannot be placed next to the starting one that would stop any sort of progress whatsoever. But because this particular path allows progress, this would be legal. And then players would just continuously take turns. Again, it must be logical. For example, this one would not jive well with this particular tile. The paths just simply don't match. So this would need to go somewhere else, possibly like so. Now at any point, if a tile comes up with gold on it, that is a tile that indicates that there should be a gold nugget that will spawn at that location. So once you find a place for it, let's say here, for example, you would just simply place a gold nugget on it, and players will need to try and get to that location and collect that gold nugget. The objective here is for players to earn a set number of these gold nuggets and escape back to the entrance before the other players do. And the number of nuggets a player will need to win is dependent on how many people are actually playing. Now once players are done taking turns placing these 20 tiles around, the next phase of the game can actually begin. This is where players will be able to actually move around and start collecting the gold nuggets. Now, a player's turn is broken up into 2 parts, movement and then action. During the movement bit, the player can do 3 different things. A player can move 1 tile along a particular path, and then just one, mind you, 1 tile, one space, and then pick up a tile and go ahead and place it. The other thing a player can do is roll the die and then move that many spaces. So instead of placing a tile, they'll just simply move however many spaces are on the die. Finally, if their character happens to be on a tile that has a little water symbol on it. That is an indication that there's a secret passage there. And if they begin their turn on a space that has that secret passage, they can roll both die to see if they actually can transverse it. If they roll doubles or a 7, they can safely move to another location on the board that has the same water symbol on it. Basically, it's just them transversing these dark tunnels. Otherwise, if they don't roll doubles or a 7, they would pick the lowest number out of the 2 die and move that many spaces. Once a player is done moving, they can move on to the action phase, and that can be one of two things. One action a player can take is pick up a gold nugget. Let's say there was a gold nugget here, and green was here, and he ended his turn on this location. He could use the action to pick up this gold nugget and put it into a score pile. The other action that a player can take is initiate a challenge, and that's representative of these blue and red challenge tokens here. Basically, you've got gold challenges, which is this blue one, and you've got bat challenges, which is this red one. And as players initiate challenges, they'll have to give up these tokens and eliminate them from the game. Now, a blue challenge or a gold challenge, players must be on the same location in order for this challenge to occur. Basically, players will roll 2 dice, and the best out of 3, the highest number, will win the challenge. And all that simply means is that the winner will be able to take a gold nugget from the opponent's score pile and put that somewhere on the board on one of these gold spaces. And for winning, the player can then roll 1 die and move that many spaces in the hopes of getting to that location. The other challenge is a bat challenge. That can be initiated anywhere, no matter where the 2 players happen to be. Basically, again, it's a best out of 3 dice roll kind of thing. And the winner gets to roll a die and can move that other player or the loser that many spaces in any way they want to. So if you see that your opponent is closing in on a gold piece that you don't want them to have, and you can initiate that challenge, and if you happen to win it, you can move them away from the gold. And really, that's all there is to it. Players will be taking turns placing new tiles down, expanding this cavern, discovering new gold nugget locations, and trying to capture as many as they can. And the first person who manages to collect a certain number and make their way back to the entrance will win the game. And there you have it. That's just a very brief look at the game Goldmine. Nothing fancy, but it should give you an idea as to how it plays. You can check out my review at www.dadsgamingaddiction.com, or you can simply click on the link in the below description. That'll take you there as well. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.